Hello, learners. Hope you are keeping well. Today, we're going to look at economic geography, and our main focus area is small scale and large scale farmers and the role of small scale and large scale farmers. All right, so let's go on. Let's then look first of all at what is a small scale farmer. All right, a small scale farmer. All right, or farming. Let's put it that way, not the farmer. Farmer could be big size. All right, farming. Okay, the first thing we say it is the production of crops or livestock. All right, on a small piece of land. All right, not large, not this massive hectares and hectares and hectares. It's on a small piece of land. And it can include mixed farming, eh? You can have livestock, you can have crops, you can have a variety of crops. That's your small scale farming. Now, another important point, it is both subsistence, which talks about for your own use. So people doing the small scale farming will use it for themselves, and it's commercial, where they would look to sell crops. Like a person is around a residential area, has space in the land, in the yard, okay, and decides, hey, I'm not working and whatever. And you know what? I can do some of plant some things, maybe even have some chickens. And what I could do is I could sell it to the local community, okay, and I'll also eat from what I farm. Okay, even sometimes a local supermarket may buy some of the stuff from them. Okay, so that's it, commercial and subsistence. The food production is much smaller compared to large scale farming. Now, I know I haven't explained large scale farming yet, but you will see it now. The food production is smaller. Large scale farming, they produce a lot, but we will come to that as I discuss large scale farming. They generally do not generally use advanced, expensive technologies. It's more labor orientated or labor intensive. Okay, you'll see they'll use hose and sort of manual things, hose and uh, sort of watering can to water the crops, or maybe just a hose pipe. But all those expensive technologies like harvesters and tractors and whatever, you understand, hybrid seeds, they don't use all those things. So it involves a few people or just one or two people, you understand, possibly family members. Okay, uh, they're planting, and then the son, the wife, the dad, the daughter gets involved so they can work together, or possibly maybe some of the neighbors who are in the area. The person doing it says, "Hey, you know what? I am making some money here." And I want to plant a bit more. So maybe I'll call in my neighbors to come in and assist me. Okay, so even the neighbors could come in and then work. At least they get some money from it also. Okay, so we know that it processes a small quantity rather of food. Doesn't mean quality, all right? And it supplies the local community, all right, or the local market in the area. Now, one important thing that you need to note, all right, many learners tend to mix this up with subsistence farming. And we need to make it clear, I've indicated it already. Subsistence farming is basically for your own use. All right, that's the intention. You no intention to sell. Not that there's no trade. If there's a surplus, most probably a subsistence farmer will take it and maybe sell it or exchange it or for other things, etc. But the purpose for a subsistence farmer is to farm for their own use. All right. Whereas a small scale farmer, there's a difference for own use and for selling. All right. There's a commercial aspect to small scale farming. All right, let's go on. And yes, the importance of small scale farming. All right, one of the big things, and you would have done food security before, and we will do it again this year, right? When you have enough food to live a healthy and nutritious or productive lifestyle, you have nutritious food to live a healthy and productive lifestyle. And this increases food security. Because now, by having small scale farming, more people are planting, they're having food for themselves, and they're also supplying to their communities. Look at this stat from Stats South Africa. 2.2 million households have recently constructed food gardens at their homes in order to avert, right, or try to avoid food insecurity. All right, they may be not employed in a formal employment or whatever, or any employment, and they need to eat. And in the same time, they're putting those food gardens can also sell to people around them. So very important for food security. People are able to sell crops, reducing poverty. Poverty is a huge issue in many countries and in South Africa. You understand? It's a huge issue. So they can alleviate poverty by selling their stuff as small scale farmers, thereby improving their quality of life. They have more money, they can buy more things. You understand? Improving the quality of life. They also create employment for the local community. They're not only helping themselves, learners, you understand? As they grow a bit and they realize they need some assistance, then they will get the local community, maybe who's not employed or something of that sort, and get them involved, okay, in this farming so they could earn. And that's important. And also, people may become more comfortable to live in rural areas if they're doing it there. All right? Okay, so what actually happens here is, hey, you may say now, listen, I have a garden going, all right? I'm making money. Why must I take a chance to go to the urban areas? Maybe I get nothing there, all right? So I'm actually starting to live a little bit more comfortably. So I'm going to stay in the rural areas. And this can reduce rural urban migration and its massive associated challenges, as you would have done in settlement geography, both for the rural and the urban area. Okay, it's small, but it does contribute to the GDP and economy of South Africa. All right, we may say, how? I'm just giving you an example. All right, people now earn, they buy stuff in terms of goods, and they want more services. And what happens if they're buying more goods? More goods are produced, all right, thereby helping with the GDP. The production is getting greater, all right, more services are used. Okay, so more money is being spent around. Okay, improving the economy. So they play a huge part, all right, these small scale farming, all right, in terms of the GDP, the economy, the quality of life of people, food security, etc. Okay, let's go to large scale farming. All right. And here you can also see the size compared to the photographs I showed you before. It's huge. I'm just going to go back there. Can you see it? Yeah, it's trading. And here you can see it's a small scale. There's a house there. There, the people are planting here. So it's much smaller compared to this, which is massive. Okay, this is large scale farming. All right, it's a system which involves growing of crops or rearing of animals on a large piece of land. Massive, big production. So it's done on a commercial basis and is profit orientated. They want to make money. They're not worried about anything else. They're not worried about eating this. Maybe the farmer will eat something now and then, but his big thing is to sell his crops, so make the profit. Eh? Right. Food production obviously will be large, high levels of output. Example, cash grain farms, which produce these grains to be sold. All right. So production is large. Lots of tons, thousands of tons of crops, etc. It's generally monoculture, one type of crop, because they want to focus on one to maximize their profit. Sometimes you can get two, but generally it is monoculture. All right. They apply modern farming technologies, okay, in order to increase the output. Example, using machinery, harvesters and whatever, and scientific methods, farming methods, which will cut down the effect of climatic conditions, of frost, frost can be dangerous, of various other pests and things like that. They will use scientific methods to reduce all that because they want the maximum output so that they can make the most money. Okay, it services local and international markets. When I mean local, it services the country, okay, or the province, and in many cases, it exports the stuff to other countries. It wants a big market, okay, and it employs and creates employment for many people. Right? It's lots of people are employed here. And when I say creates employment, when they produce stuff, the raw materials, all right, it's used in the secondary industry. Okay. And therefore, those people have more employment. There's services involved here, transportation, etc., of goods. There's research in terms of researching uh, better methods of farming and crops, etc. And therefore, more people will be involved in. So, large scale farming is very, very significant. All right. I know I'm going to repeat some of the stuff here, and I'm going to move my head a bit. Okay. So, importance of large scale farming. Okay. It contributes significantly to the GDP of South Africa. All right. Contributes significantly. Okay. Lots of money being made, lots of goods being produced. Okay, in terms of the goods, and as I told you, it encourages services, etc. that comes in. And look at this. Okay, this is basically your commercial farmers who bring in a lot of money through exports, huge exports. All right, as shown down here. All right, a large amount of exports bringing in a lot of foreign exchange. Even here, you can see, even in 2012, it's around 6.2% of the overall, or 6.3% of the overall exports of South Africa. So it brings in a large amount of money. And this is contributed to your large scale farmers. Okay, it employs a large number of people, as I indicated, but it's important. A large amount of food is produced. Okay, so this plays a significant role in food security. They supply the food. All right. In fact, in South Africa, as we've done in the previous sections, we produce more food than the people need. So food security plays a big role for, all right, because of the amount of food that's available. All right, it provides raw materials for the secondary sector. You understand? In previous lessons, we spoke about uh, taking your maize and making cereals with it. All right, so they can use it. All right, so very important. All right, by improving quality of life in terms of creating employment, etc. It increases the secondary and tertiary sector. People can afford more goods and services. So it plays a big part in increasing that, all right, by creating things, employing more people, okay, linked to it and directly. Therefore, you can get more people buying and more goods being produced, okay, to meet that demand. Okay, so agricultural sector plays a huge part, learners, in terms of our contribution to the GDP, etc. I just put a simple activity here. All right, and I know you'll just go through it like this. Okay, simple things, because again, my focus is we forget about the simple things. Please don't forget, you must go over your past papers to see the type, to think like the examiner. Eh? Have your mind and think, what is the examiner wants? After you answer it, look at the memos. You want to see whether you're on the right track. All right. But just a simple thing here to give you some ideas. All right. I've got two pictures here. All right. A and B. All right. And what actually here we're looking at, this we can see clearly is a small scale farmer. All right. You can see the watering can. It's not done on a large scale area set out most probably for herself and maybe for the community around. Okay. This one you can see definitely large scale. You can see the area it's covering using technology. All right, for irrigating the land. All right, so various things are being used. Let's look at the questions. Differentiate between small scale and large scale farming. All right, you already know those things, eh? It's in the notes. Just to give you a few examples, a small scale farming done on a small scale. All right, not much machinery used, labor, a smaller output. Okay, large scale farming on a large scale, it consists of just commercial compared to the small scale, which is subsistence and commercial, eat for themselves and sell. This one is profit orientated. Okay, I'm not going to go into all the examples, you have them there. All right, then we say match the terms small scale and large scale farming with pictures A and B. All right. A, of course, you know, is small scale. B is large scale. Why? You can see in A, lack of technology or modern technology being used. All right. A watering can is done on a smaller scale. Whereas B, you can see technology being used. It's the way it's being irrigated by use of tractors, etc. Okay. And it's done on a large scale. All right. Explain how small scale farming can increase food security. And again, can you see what we're doing here, learners? All the answers are basically in your notes. There will be some higher order questions where you think slightly out of the box, but you'll make reference to your notes, all right, to get those answers. Okay, it's understanding of the notes. And this you have already, all right, how it increases because people produce food. Okay, they can feed themselves. They even produce, they sell some food to the surrounding communities who buy them, and they will buy. Sometimes it's at a cheaper rate. You must remember the small scale farmer is doing it in his yard, not paying much rent for a shop or huge land or whatever. So it will increase. Okay, can you see that? So it's all those answers. And the importance of large scale farming to the economy. Just watch, learners. Always know there it was small scale. Yeah, it is large scale. And again, can you see all those factors that we discussed just now? Okay, it contributes to the GDP. Okay, because it sells and it produces so much. Okay, it's linked to other industries. Okay, so it promotes secondary activities. Okay, because it provides the raw materials, it creates labor, so more people employed. Can you see all those factors? It has a lot of exports, bringing a lot of foreign currency into the country. Okay, so that's how we look. Can you see? I haven't went through all the answers because all the answers are in your notes. And of course, as I mentioned, you'll get one or two questions about 25% of the paper, which is higher order, but not out of reach for you. All right. Do not, learners, say, I'm not going, never going to answer those ones, those paragraphs, etc. You will be, no matter what you feel your ability is in this subject. You understand? You will be able to get many of those answers. Okay, learners, that concludes our small scale, large scale farming. I hope you understand this section better. All the best. Goodbye.